I've gotten a lot of requests and questions about redoing my team comp videos for Quick Arts at Buster. Those videos were some of the first videos that I made, and they're pretty dated. Yeah, those videos are old. A lot of that information is not even correct, especially because they have a lot of things that have changed since then. But it is a lot of work to redo all those videos on top of the other things that I have to do. So I reached out for a little bit of assistance. With the help of Justin from Kawaii 50 and Avon from FGO Tips, we'll make sure you know how to make your first team comp with Buster Arts and Quick. Let's jam. So yeah, everyone say hi to YouTube. This part's gonna be on YouTube. Buster cards. You guys know about that, right? Buster cards are gonna be the big red button, the big dick damage when you're in a pinch. And I'm not sure if you guys know this, but it has actually a 10 to 20% chance of critting on all Buster cards. No MP gain. So the only reason why you see MP gain on Buster cards is if a skill is like giving it, but normally it doesn't give MP gain. But it does the most damage out of all the card types as well. I mean, again, you know that. What you might not know is that when you start a chain off with a Buster card, it actually gives a 50% bonus to all the other cards in the chain. So that's actually super important when you're trying to do more damage. You're gonna want to start with a Buster card versus anything else. Mind you, this does not include Noble Phantasms. So like, if you have a Noble Phantasm after a Buster card, that Noble Phantasm doesn't get stronger. But if you start off with a Buster Noble Phantasm card, that does interact. That does actually interact and make other cards in the chain stronger, so long as they're not Noble Phantasms. And that's good to know. But those are just the stats of Buster cards. What exactly do you need to make a Buster team comp if you wanted to do it? It's a couple ways you could do. You honestly could just make a team with just all servers have Buster cards in it. But there is a particular team comp that most people like going after, and that's called Buster Crits. It is simply that. It's going to be the whole idea of increasing critical gain, critical strength, and critical generation, so that you actually can power up your criticals. This is actually one of the major teams that most people make a lot of the times because servers are built in with the skills to actually take care of that. Let's look at Ishtar, for example. Ishtar actually has skills that increase her attack and critical strength for all allies, and focusing on her attack as well as some stuff in her passives, which increase her critical strength passively. And also, even her Noble Phantasm, when you get the strengthening, increases a large amount of critical stars. So there's a lot of servers in the Buster category that kind of fits that. But in forming a team composition, you're gonna need roles. You're gonna need roles for each server to take. So what roles in the team composition you're gonna need? The main one you're gonna need is DPS. Now, for you guys who don't know, DPS means damage per second, and they're going to be the main damage dealer for your team. So you want someone ideally that can not only buff themselves in some form, but have a form of survivability if you're going for a boss lane type of comp. If it's AoE, you mainly need someone that does a lot of damage. And a good example of an AoE Buster servant that's really good, and Nina's gonna enjoy the next person I mention here, because she's fallen in love and uses him a lot as well, and that's gonna be my boy Spartacus.
Yeah, boy! Level up your Spartacus, boys and girls.
Seriously, as you can see here, Spartacus is no joke. Like, he may be a 1-star, but that has nothing to say about his skills here.
Yeah.
Like, not only does he have an HP recovery skill when you need him in a pinch, he has a gut skill for survivability, he has an MP battery skill, he has a Buster increase skill, and also more HP. On top of that, with his Noble Phantasm, it deals defense ignoring damage. And also gets even more HP if your overcharge is high. This is a lot of damage it deals, and because he's a berserker, he deals 150% more damage overall. So like, that's really good, and he's really cheap. So like, him being a 1-star means you can get 5 copies of him very easily. And because it's a year 1 servant, his materials that he needs are very like, you probably have a lot of them just by nature of them being like old skills. Just old in general. He does have a couple strengthenings as well, if I recall correctly.
He does. He has quite a few.
Yeah, which is good.
So
right here, he has an interlude and 3 rank up quests. So look at that.
Yep.
So there you go. So he has a lot of love, especially if you put it into him. And this is him not even Grail. This is just level 60.
I am so proud of you for leveling up your Spartacus to the extent that you have.
Oh no, like I 1000 fold him. He's bond 10 because I use him. I use him so much. Like he's really good. Another person that I would recommend, this is more for boss slaying purposes. I don't know why I didn't do this. This is more for boss slaying. Bedivere.
Yes.
Bedivere as a free-to-play option is very good, and I'm starting to realize that because I've been playing around with him a little bit. Not only does he have a skill to increase all allies' MP strength, he has a strengthening for that skill actually that makes it so it increases all allies' MP generation as well. So that is really good.
Only problem with Bedivere is he is story locked, so you do have to catch him on the raid ups. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you are 100% correct. He is a story locked servant. He's on raid up currently at the time of this recording, but otherwise you gotta risk your luck in story banner, which is asking a lot. He is a 3-star though, so there's a good chance you could get him, but I really hesitate asking people to roll in story gacha. But he is very good. The fact that he has a skill that increases MP damage and his Noble Phantasm increases Buster damage is very, very nice. So already is multiplicative. Like he already has multiplicative stacking, which is very good, and he's a 3-star at that. So that's awesome. Now then, I'd be remiss if I talked about a Buster team composition video and I did not mention our boy, our Lord and Savior, Arash.
Yes! My boy!
Seriously, Arash is the truth. Now, when I actually made the Archer tier list video with Tristan, I mentioned how Arash is an easy EX. There's no way that no one has ever not used him and leveled him. And I was surprised at the amount of comments. It was like, oh, Arash is good? Oh shit.
What?
Or oh, I played this game for 3 months and I've never used him. Or I played this game for 3 years and I never used him. And I'm like,
wow.
What? He's the freest free. And I'm gonna tell you why. Look, the bond 10 tells you. It tells you the story. And the fact that I grailed him. That's how much I use him and I like him. His first 2 skills, I'm gonna be real with you, I'm gonna be 100 with you. Do not level these skills up. Do not waste materials and QP on the first 2 skills. Get him to level 60 and unlock his 3rd skill ASAP. That's the one skill that if you have to level to 10, you level that one because that increases your MP gauge. Why this is important is this depends on what craft essence you give him. If this battery is maxed out, this gives him more options of what CEs he can run, so he can automatically use his Noble Phantasm, because that is the thing that you need, because this thing is stupid. MP5, it deals significant damage to all enemies, and this strength increases with overcharge. Yes, he dies at the end of it, so he suicide bombs himself into the opponent, essentially, but it does so much damage that it is worth it. He can do so much damage that actually can clear at a disadvantage too. It's absurd. Especially if you actually give him some form of support, things are gonna die. And again, because he's a 1-star, it's very easy to get those extra MP levels, which are gonna matter when it comes to damage. Yeah, he does more than a single target. Yes, exactly. AoE, which is absurd. The only other person right now that I know that can do that, you guys can probably guess, is fucking Chengon.
Yep.
The Chengon can do very similar things, but Arash was the first. Arash paved the way so Chengon could walk and run. So if you don't have Arash leveled at this point, definitely do it. Definitely give him the support, because in team comps, when he dies, it puts the next person in your team up to his position. So this is how you can form team comps around him. Have Arash clear the first wave, then put in your DPS unit that's going to take care of wave 2 and wave 3. Or wave 2 and whatever the person you had in there for team or wave 3. It's all encompassing. So that's going to be that. But we can't talk about team compositions without the other role. Because yes, we have damage per second. We have our DPS. The next role is support. All servants, in a sense, going to need some sort of support servant to make them better. And what I mean by that, I don't mean the servant on your support list. I mean literally the servant that's going to facilitate their skills. Let's take Helena, for example. Helena is seen as the 4-star waiver because they have the ability to buff all card types. Like they can give all allies increased MP gauge. On top of that, give all allies quick arts and buster up. So there's that. And on the off chance she needs to actually do some damage, she can do it herself. But she is very good, especially for early players, as a free-to-play option or very cheap-to-play option support. Yes, her MP is there, but her MP isn't necessarily what you're looking for because casters don't really do that much damage. But if she needs to, she can. So then let's go into someone else that's a very good support that's also cheap. William Shakespeare.
Ah, yes.
William Shakespeare is a 2-star, and again, he's something that you can use early on. Not only does he have a skill that increases Buster card performance for all allies for 1 turn, but he also has an MP gauge, 20% by the way, for 1 turn, for 1 person. So it's very much centered around, I want to kill you fast right now. And in a lot of cases, unless you're going against one opponent with 1 HP bar, you're going to make him the secondary support to get additional damage rather than the main one. But it is good that you know that a 2-star is actually going to be a very good support for you if you have him. And he does do damage again, but like I said with Helena, it is very situational where you want him to actually be doing damage. That's like a last resort type of deal. And for strengthenings, he's had 2 rank up quests and an interlude. So yeah, 1 for his skill, 1 for his noble phantasm. The next 2-star, someone that me and Nina absolutely love, Hans Christian Andersen.
We both have him grailed.
Exactly, grailed Silverfold Bonten. This little boy, voiced by fucking Dio, is absolutely amazing. And you may not realize it because at first it's like, okay, what does he really do? Well, his human observation increases critical strength to all party, to your entire party for 3 turns. Remember, I told you a very popular comp for Buster is Buster Criticals. So there's that. He has a second skill. He can increase his double phantasm gauge from 0 to 80% on his own. Which, again, that may seem a little selfish, but his double phantasm is really good, and we'll get to it. His third skill, which didn't used to be targetable, but now is you gain crit stars each turn for 3 turns, increase double phantasm gauge for each turn for a single ally. Before, it used to be a demerit, it used to only work on him. But now, he can actually say, hey, you're gonna get 10% MP for 3 turns, and you're gonna get 5 to 10 crit stars per turn. So he continues to facilitate crits, and he helps go ahead and give him battery. It's 75%? Thank you, Kika. Sorry, not 80, 75%. Noble Phantasm. Here is a random chance to increase attack and defense, and critical star drop rate, and HP for 3 turns. When you get this maxed out at MP5, it is 80%. So it's a very high chance, it is sucky, but it's so many effects, you're getting something out of him. And because he increases Noble Phantasm so high, and he's a caster, very good. So even though he's arts, he still has a place, and he is a very good option. But let's get the biggest elephant out of the room. When we think of support for Buster, there's really only one servant that most people think about.
Yep.
That's gonna be Merlin. Yes, Merlin, he may be a limited 5-star caster, but he is absolutely amazing. And when he was released, he absolutely changed the landscape of the game.
He's the reason we have break bars.
Exactly. Just his existence changed the game. And that's very important. Because quick, they have Scotty. And for arts, now they have Waver, but soon you'll have Caster Artoria next year. But for right now, Buster, you have Merlin. That is your main man. First skill increases attack and MP for all allies. This is 10 to 20% Oh, it's 20 to 30% attack and 10 to 20% MP for all allies. So that's really good. His second skill is a team-wide invul. Mind you, before this point, David had the team-wide evade. And he's a 3-star. So we have a 5-star that says, no, let's go a step further. Invul, but also reduces critical attack rate for enemies, but also increases crit star drop rate for your allies. So there you go. And lastly, Hero Creation increases Buster performance for 3 turns and max HP and max critical strength. You see the trend with the Buster critical. He's definitely focusing in on those traits. Not to mention he gets his own MP about 5% per turn considering his passive, and his Noble Phantasm, which helps for longer fights, HP per turn, 5% HP per turn, and MP gauge, and crit stars. He is ideal when you're going against a big boss, where you need a survivability. We need to last a long time and keep the damage going. He is very, very good at that. You only need MP1 of him too. You don't need to go crazy, you know, MP2, MP5, or whatever else. Just get 1 copy. The problem is that there is only 1 more chance to roll for this man at the moment, and that's going to be in the Summer 4 rerun next year.
Yep.
So if you want Merlin, if you like Buster, he's definitely someone to aim for. He gets a costume, which is the thing he's wearing right now. Summer 4 rerun, which is next year. You're gonna have to wait for that. That gives you some time. But with Buster, there is someone else that is coming out, and I'm not gonna get into too much details about them. But there is another servant that's gonna come out in 2 years as of the point of this recording that is gonna be absolutely fantastic and a must-own for anyone who actually wants to roll Buster. Koyanskaya of Light, also known as Tamamovich. You've seen this person, but yes, they come out in 2 years. They are your opponent right now, but they become your ally. You can roll for them. They are a limited servant, and they are absolutely made for Buster. A lot of their skills target only Buster. They also level skill cooldowns. They are in fact a Buster sub DPS themselves. They are very, very good for AoE farming. Does she replace Merlin? No, absolutely not. She does not replace Merlin. In fact, she works pretty good with Merlin if you really want to. But I honestly think Tamamovich, or Koyanskaya of Light as she's being called right now, works better for AoE farming strats with Buster, and Merlin, as I said before, works better for longer engagements, works better for those longer attrition fights where you're going against a challenge quest or a big boss of a chapter or a raid boss. That's what you're gonna definitely want to bring Merlin in for. Especially in those rolling situations, not rolling situations, those farming situations where the game says you can only use one of a servant. In that case, it's good to have a Merlin and a Koyanskaya of Light. And yes, Nina did mention another servant that also helps, but that's a little bit spoilerish, and you'll find out in 2 years who that servant is. Just know that that servant and Koyanskaya of Light are literally a month apart, no, 2 weeks apart. So just if you care about Buster and you really love Buster servants, save up all your quartz for 2 years from now.
Yep.
And you will be absolutely fine. So quite honestly, that really is it, guys. Like, it's not really too much else. I'm really glad that I was able to do this with Kawaii 5.0 and FGO tips, because this is something that a lot of people don't know about team comps, and we're gonna go even further to team comps in the future. If you liked the video, let me know, give it a like, comment down below if you really enjoy it, and hey, catch me on stream Tuesdays and Thursdays. And until next time, I'm Usaki, and that's Nina.
Yo.
And we're logging out. See ya.